leadership of the Assembly,
yes,
even the Senate, seem to be on the same page with the Nigerian people as well as the presidency. So
yes,
if they're on the same page, all asking for the conference, for this talk, why are we afraid that when it gets there, it will be watered down or thrown away?
Okay, I'm happy you asked that question. I mean, and if we're the praying type, I would have prayed for you for asking the question, because it brings out the thing. You see, the National Assembly that I know will never endorse any recommendation that touches on areas that Nigerians have been clamoring for. No. They know the areas they want to approve. Not all the... You see, as many Nigerians as say that there are problems in this country are the same number of Nigerians that have said, look, we want a National Assembly. Even if they are not saying that openly, once any Nigerian says there are problems in this country, and I don't know any Nigerian that says there are no problems in this country, those people, or everybody is asking for a National Assembly. So, and sovereignty inheres in them. And to go back to your question, the state house, I mean, the National Assembly is on the same page with everybody that's asking for this thing. But you will see, if you ever read the statement of the chairman of Information, Media and Publicity of the Senate, Senator Enyinaya Abaribe. Good. Now, he said, well, you see, the Senate has been on the same page with everybody asking for national conference. Yeah, to discuss the problems of Nigeria. You know, however, you know, the red line, that he was very happy that the red line of the Senate, that, you know, which the president factored into his broadcast, it was very much okay. That is the red line. And the red line was no, what is the name? Sovereignty. No sovereignty status should be conferred on the conference. Well, and that immediately tells you where they are coming from.
You know, we heard the Senate president when he was speaking. I wish you could play that back. We heard him, and he said that, you know, the need for us to talk is now more imperative than ever. Yes. He also talked about how our constitution, as it stands currently, allows for freedom of association.
Yes.
But anything outside that, in terms of when we're beginning to talk about sovereignty, is not supported by this constitution. Don't you think we need a legal framework, lest that particular process be taken to court and nullified? Because there will be no law backing that. We can't just say in vacuum that it's the people and the sovereignty lies in the people, and that's just it.
Well, the way you have put it now, you talk like you are a lawyer, and it's beautiful. You see, yes, what I would wish to see happen is this. There must be an enabling law. If the president is serious about this national conference, you know, that we serve as an undercarriage for the national conference, so that whenever, and that law should say that whatever decision, whatever recommendations that the conference will come up with will be binding on everybody. That the National Assembly or no assembly in this country has the right to alter or change or amend any of the recommendations of, because we say it's a national conference, and the people that we are going to choose must represent us. So there must be an enabling law to that effect.
Mr. Akiri, but doesn't it also mean that we're sort of approaching this with a closed mind already? One of the things that people have been asked to, you know, do is approach this conference with an open mind.
Yes.
Now that the president has said we're going to submit this to the National Assembly, we have been seeing all sorts of reactions, so that even people who had supported it hitherto are now saying this was not how we supported it. Is that not already closing up one's mind to this particular discussion?
What are they saying they are not supporting? For example, the president himself, he said, I admit, I'm almost quoting him verbatim, I admit that the problem is, I mean, the country is confronted with problems. And that we are divided, and I'm not quoting him verbatim, we are divided ethnically, religiously, politically, and materially. Those were the words of the president. And therefore, there is need for us to sit down and iron out these problems. Because apart from socio-economic and political problems in this country, staring us hard in the face, we have serious problems with the constitution that we call the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, even as amended. Because, you see, Nigeria comprises a disparate congeries of ethnic nationalities to start with, and then for us to be held together as a federation. And you know, federalism is a compromise. You know, for us to be held together, there must be a constitution, a good constitution. And now this constitution is, I don't know, is an amalgam of ranking consistencies. You see, it is both military and civilian. It is both democratic and it is both democratic and authoritarian. It is both libertarian and so on, and it is both secular and theocratic. That is the type of constitution we have.
All in this document.
This document. And you see, take a look at section 10.
But isn't that the kind of people we are?
I beg your pardon?
Complex people.
Yes.
It's not a reflection of the kind of people that we are. Because the people who sat to write out this constitution must have meant well. They must
they meant well, but don't forget that this is decree number 24. Decree number 24 of May 9, 1999. This constitution. Decree number 24 is a military decree handed over to us. So it's a relic of our solid military past. And therefore, you see, we must do away with all the relics of militarism in this country. We cannot say, okay, we are outside the military era and then still retain relics of that past.
You know, go through all of this.
The dialogue that the president has started the motions for right now, is it to produce a constitution, or first of all to get the ethnic groups to talk about it?
Yes, okay, good question. Because I have always been, I've been hearing that, okay, yes, the dialogue will produce the constitution. That it cannot do that. The conference, and I don't believe dialogue. Dialogue is a simple thing. It's not the apt description of what, or it should not be the apt description of what the president is setting out to do. A dialogue is a discussion or conversation between two groups or between one country and another country, you know. But this is a serious thing. It's a conference. They had better coin a proper name for this thing. It's not dialogue. It should be anything but a dialogue. Now, to come to this thing, the conference should set out to discuss the ills of this country. I mean, we came together since January 1, 1914. You know, between then and that time is quite a period. I mean, January 1 next year will be 100 years old. But there are problems which we have to iron out. Nobody is talking of disintegration or dividing the country. No, nobody. But there are problems of socio-economic, political, religious nature. So this conference must iron all those things out.
All of those
problems must be ironed out.
No-go areas?
No-go areas. In fact, the moment you start talking of no-go area, because even the president in his own speech started talking of no-go areas, more or less. When he talked of sovereignty of the people, now, was it in 2005 or even in the president's speech said, where the conference will not be an alternative for the legislature or the executive. You see, immediately we are in trouble. It must be a sovereign thing, meaning that the recommendations must be acted upon. Must be acted upon. You don't set them aside at all. Otherwise, what's the need for spending so much money organizing a conference which will come out with a report which will be subjected to the scrutiny and maybe ratification of the National Assembly?